Good morning to one and all. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about CSIR NET GRF Chemical Science, June-November 2020, Part C, Series 6 question paper. Okay. In the earlier sessions, we completed 5 series of Part C. In each series, 10 questions will be there, but only in Series 5, we have only 4 questions. Remaining all consist of 10 questions in each series. In this Series 6, we are going to cover entire 16 questions of physical chemistry of June-November 2020 chemical science question paper. And even part B question paper have been solved, and entire question paper is going to be completed by today, right? So this previous question paper of CSIR discussion will helpful for your entrance examinations and even competitive examinations what we are applying for, right? So this question paper analysis is very much helpful for from which area questions are coming and what is the depth of questions and how to solve the questions. So this will be very much fetching for you. Let us enter into our actual concept. Here question number 105 to 120 of this June-November Part C 2020 question paper is going to be discussed in today's session. Let us discuss about question number 105. The term symbol for ground state dinitrogen cation radical, N2 positive radical is given as, right? When we are taking nitrogen positive, here one of the nitrogen atom is consisting NS2, NP3. Another nitrogen positive is consisting NS2, NP. In p orbital only, how many electrons? 2 electrons will be there, because positive charge, it denotes what? One of the electron lost by this nitrogen. Because we are taking radical anion, that's the reason why one side nitrogen is consisting in its valency shell NS2, that means 2s2, 2p3. Here N positive will contains 2s2, 2p, 2 electrons only, right? So these 2s2 electrons, then we can fill these 2 electrons in sigma bonding and sigma anti-bonding. Whenever we consider electrons in p orbital, here 3 electrons will be there, here 2 electrons, total 5 electrons. How can we fill 5 electrons? Here sigma ungerade orbital is filled with 4 electrons and sigma gerade orbital filled with only 1 electron. Till half filled, 2 orbitals are laying down. So, and 1 sigma 2pz orbital is laying up. So more than half filled kind of electronic configuration. When we consider oxygen molecule formation, these pi ungerane orbitals will come up and sigma gerade orbital will come down. So this N2 positive comes under less than half filled. That's the reason why arrangement of orbitals will be in this manner only, right? Pi 2px, pi 2py orbitals will laying down and sigma bonding orbital will laying up. Okay, so this is about the orbital representation, and filling of electrons will be in this manner. Where we have odd electron is present in sigma gerade orbital. Let us see what is gerade and what all these, right? Here, gerade stands for, we have a description here. Gerade is given for, if you are taking sigma bonding orbital is given, this is called a gerade orbital. Then sigma antibonding orbital is denoted as ungerade orbital. And what we can take, right? So pi bonding orbital always regarded as ungerade orbital. Then pi antibonding orbital is always denoted as always gerade orbital. This is about the description for gerade and ungerade. Okay, pi bonding is said to sigma bonding is said to be gerade orbital. Next is about sigma antibonding is called ungerade orbital, pi bonding is ungerade, pi antibonding is called gerade orbital. Where we have electron is present in sigma gerade orbital. So sigma bonding is nothing but sigma gerade only. right? So, and the next is about spin multiplicity. So how many electrons present in this sigma, Jared? Only one electron is there. Then let us apply spin multiplicity formula 2s plus 1. So when 2s plus 1 formula is applied, 2 into half plus 1. 2 get cancelled and 2s plus 1 is equal to 2. Okay. Here superscript becomes a 2. Superscript becomes a 2 here. So this is the final term symbol what we are expecting. So how can this is achieved? Here 2s plus 1 formula will be taken as a superscript here. So s is nothing but the spin of the electron. Here one electron is there in the valency shell, hence we can assign 1 by 2. Then 2 into 1 by 2 plus 1, 2 get cancelled, it will be 2. That's why we indicated 2 here. Then where the electron resided, electron is present in sigma orbital. That's the reason why here sigma symbol is denoted. Here L value if 0, 1, 2, 3 are given for atoms. For atoms, term symbol is given as, how to denote term symbol if we have 0, then term symbol is given as s orbital. And if 1 is there, L is equal to 1 is there, that is denoted as P. L is equal to 2, that is denoted as D. If L is equal to 3, that is denoted as F, right? So same L values are present in case of molecule. For molecule, then term symbol is denoted as, for molecule, term symbol is denoted as sigma is given with, 0, L is equal to 0 is given with sigma orbital. L is equal to 0 is given with sigma orbital. If L is equal to 1, the orbital is denoted as pi. If orbital is 2, L is equal to 2, that is denoted as delta. If L is equal to 3, for molecule, it is denoted as pi. This is about the representation of term symbol for molecule. We are considering N2 positive. That's the reason why here sigma will be there. That means L is equal to 0, which is denoted as a sigma term symbol. That's why we indicated sigma. Then what kind of orbital it is? It is the sigma orbital. Hence it is denoted as Gerard orbital. That's the reason why here subscript becomes a Gerard. Then why positive sign indicated here? Here again two conditions will be there. If electron resides in bonding orbital, sign is positive. Sign is positive. Electron is in antibonding orbital. Sign is negative. So this is a condition. Where the electron is present? Electron is present in sigma bonding. That's the reason why what we have to assign, positive sign should be assigned. Hence it is denoted as plus sign here. So this 2 denotes what? Spin multiplicity, which calculated as 2. Sigma denotes what? If L value is 0, then sigma denoted as, term symbol is denoted as sigma. Plus indicates what? Presence of electron in the bonding orbital, right? Gerard indicates what? Sigma bonding is called a Gerard orbital. So that's the reason why for question number 105, for nitrogen, the correct answer will be 4. 2 sigma plus G is the right answer, right? So let us move on to question number 106. In this 106, here table representation was given. Irreducible representations of BCl3 molecule was given. BCl3 molecule is associated with D3H symmetry point group. The observed IR spectrum for BCl3 exhibits 3 bands at 995, 480, 244 centimeter inverse. while Raman bands are observed at 995, 471, 244 centimeter inverse. Given that BCl3 R vibrational is given as A1 dash plus 2E dash plus 2 A2 double dash. The frequency of A1 dash mode in centimeter inverse is. Okay, for BCl3 molecule, IR data and Raman data is produced. IR data, three vibrational frequency values are given. For Raman data, again, three values are provided to us. Okay, so among all, what we have to predict A1 dash mode frequency value should be predicted. So A1 dash mode frequency value should be predicted from this. Okay, so from this data, what we can observe, always there is a possibility of whenever molecule placed in the IR and the Raman spectra. IR spectra is observed in the infrared light region. Raman bands are observed in microwave region, right? So whenever molecule kept in this kind of electromagnetic radiation, the possible type of transitions are vibrational transitions. Vibrational transitions are basically two types. One is stretching frequency, second is bending frequency. Stretching is nothing but if we are elongating and compressing the bonds, that means we are changing the bond length, that is called as stretching. Bending stands for if you are changing the bond angle, that denotes what? Bending vibrations. Always bending vibrations are lesser energetic when compared to stretching vibrations. So from this data, it is very obvious that 995 corresponds to stretching vibrations, 244 corresponds to bending vibrations. It is very clear information which is provided in IR and Raman as well, right? So here certain protocols are provided to us. Whenever any molecule subjected to IR vibrational stretching, there is a possibility of asymmetrical bending will be a least energetic one, symmetric bending is the next one, symmetric stretching is the next level of energy, and highest energy is required for asymmetric stretching, right? So asymmetric stretching will be the highest energy. From this data, it is clear that 995 peak corresponds to asymmetric stretching. Then this 244 peak corresponds to asymmetric bending, right? So A1 dash mode of vibration we need to predict. That lays either 480 or 471. Symmetric bending or symmetric stretching. So these two to be predicted. So for that purpose, we have data from the given problem that so stretching always requires higher energy when compared to bending. Just now we discussed about that one. And 244 is the bending vibration. So A1 is regarded as a symmetric stretching. A1 dash is regarded as a symmetric stretching. Okay, so when we are having this kind of symmetric stretching, the possibility may be 480 or 471. 480 or 471. But when we consider the molecule within the problem, which molecule is given? BCl3 molecule was given to us. In case of BCl3, boron trichloride molecule, symmetric stretching is known to be IR inactive. Why it is known as IR inactive? Because of dipole moment value becomes 0, being it is a symmetrical molecule, right? So BCl3, what is the geometry of the molecule? Trigonal planar is the geometry. So when we perform symmetric stretching, what happens in all the directions? The mu value becomes 0. Dipole moment value becomes 0. That's why it becomes IR inactive. But in case of BCl3, it will be Raman active molecule. It will be Raman active molecule. That's the reason why this value corresponds to, right? So A1 dash value corresponds to 471 only, because it will be Raman active. So 480 will not be possible because IR inactive kind of stretching it is. That's the reason why 471 is the corresponding value for this A1 dash. A1 dash kind of stretching frequency, which is related with this 471 only, right? So this is the right answer for question number 106. How we predicted? For BCl3 molecules, two types of data provided. One is infrared spectrum data, another is Raman spectrum data. Infrared spectrum data, 3 signals are given. Even Raman spectrum data, 3 different frequency values are provided. Always stretching and bending, when we compare, bending will be least energetic. So bond angle variation will be least energetic, bond length variation will be highest energetic, right? That's why we can assign 244 is the bending and 995 is the stretching frequency. They are asking for A1 dash value should be predicted. In order to get that, here two values are there, either 480 or 471. So these two are the possibilities. 480 is in IR region, 471 is in Raman region. But what molecule is given? BCl3 molecule is given. Whenever we perform symmetric stretching, in that case, symmetric stretching dipole inactive, dipole 0. That's why IR inactive and Raman active. So only Raman active, that means Raman spectra is applicable. So corresponding value will be 471. This will be the right answer. For question number 106, option number 2 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 107. It is a kind of matrices. Given the matrices for C3 and C are provided. C3 symmetry and sigma horizontal plane is provided to us. The trace of the matrix representing S23 is S23 is. So trace of the matrix we have to do this. In order to get that, we have to multiply both the matrices. Let us see how the multiplication is possible. So when S cube is given, this S cube symmetry, that means S3 symmetry is given as it is the product of C3 and sigma H. What is S3? C3 and sigma H. Then S3 square is given as C3 square and sigma H square. C3 is the C3 symmetry square should be taken and sigma horizontal square should be taken. We have to get the product of these two, right? Then here C3 symmetry matrix value is provided and sigma H matrix value is also provided within the problem only. How can we go with its multiplication? The pattern will be first term should be multiplied with first one, second with the second, third terms should be third row. Here the matrix calculation will be in the order of first row can be multiplied, first term will be multiplied with first row. Second term can be multiplied with second row. Third term can be multiplied with third row. This is about the order of multiplication. Let us see how it will be done. When we take this table, here C3 and here sigma H will be given. So how can we multiply? Let us see. Minus 1 by 2 get multiplied. Minus into minus, it will be converted into positive. 1 by 2 when multiplied, it will become 1 by 4. Right? Now, minus under root 3 by 2 minus under root 3 by 2. Right? So under root 3 into under root 3, it will become 3 only. Minus into minus plus only. By 2 into 2, 4. So it will become 3 by 4 value. 0 into 0, the value becomes a 0, right? And this is the first row. First row can be multiplied in this manner. This minus 1 by 2 can be multiplied with minus 1 by 2. Minus under root 3 by 2 can be multiplied with minus under root 3 by 2. Right? So this is the C3 square. We have to take C3 square, right? That's why we are going with like this. Okay. Then 0 can be multiplied with 0 here. And the second row we will take, second column we will take minus under root 3 by 2 minus under root 3 by 2. So minus into minus, it will become plus. Then under root 3, it can be converted into 3 by 2. So can be taken as by 4. Minus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4. 0 into 0, it will become 0 only. 0 into 0, 0. 0 into 0, 0. 1 into 1, it will become 1 itself. Right? Plus 1 by 4 minus 3 by 2, it will become minus 1 by 2. Then minus 3 by 4 plus 1 by 4, it will become minus 1 by 2, 0, 0, 1, it will become 1 itself. This is the product of, C3 square. This is the product of C3 square. Now, trace can be calculated by taking sum of all these. Minus 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2 plus 1. Minus 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2, it will become 1. Minus 1 plus 1, the trace will become 0. Trace will become 0. In this manner, for this C3, C is given below. The C3 is given below. For this, it is possible to calculate as 0. It is possible to calculate as 0. So, for question number 107, option number 1 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 108. In question number 108, the energy separation of carbon 12, oxygen 16, rotational energy levels between J dash is equal to 3, J double dash is equal to 24. The rotational constant of C13 and oxygen 16 in centimeter inverse is closest to. So here the rotational constant is needed to be calculated. Energy separation of C12 and oxygen 16 were given, and C13 oxygen 16 rotational constant needed to be calculated. For that purpose, we have this energy separation, that B is always inversely proportional to mu. B is inversely proportional to mu. Mu is nothing but reduced mass, and B is nothing but energy separation between two spectral lines in the microwave spectroscopy. If we take the ratio of both, because both the atoms are provided to us, carbon and oxygen, that's why we have to consider B2 by B1. So there is an inverse proportionality. That's the reason why these terms will be reversed. The ratio of B2 by B1 is given as mu1 by mu2. Reduced mass of carbon by reduced mass of oxygen will be taken here, right? So condition 1, what atoms are given? C12 and oxygen 16. In condition 2, C13 and oxygen 16 have been given to us, right? Energy of first level is given as Bj into J plus 1. Bj into J plus 1 is the first level of that. And in case of EJ3 to 9, EJ3 to 9 when taken, so here J value will be inserted here, B into 9 plus 1 minus B into 3 plus 1. Because we are exciting 3 to 9 level, so here the value will be taken in this manner. B into 9 plus 1 minus B into 3 plus 1. Okay, if we do the calculation, it will become 78B. EJ3 to 9 is taken as 78B. Energy separation EJ is given as, energy separation of EJ is given as 24, right? So that 24 is equal to how much value? 78B. So energy separation EJ is given as 24, that is equal to 78B, right? Now we can take B1 is equal to, so let us predict the B value from this equation. Then B is taken left hand side, this will become 24 upon 78. B1 is equal to 24 upon 78. So when we do the calculation, it will become 12 by 39. So this is the simplified form. 12 by 39 is B1 level value. Then within the formula, we can substitute. What is the formula? B2 by B1 is equal to mu1 by mu2. Means B2 by B1 value is 12 by 39, right? So B2 by 12 by 39 is equal to, what are the values? Mu1 by mu2. Mu1 means reduced mass of carbon by reduced mass of second condition, that is C13 condition also given, that is reduced mass of this second condition is taken. So for that purpose, what we have to take? So in order to calculate the reduced mass of the carbon into mass of the oxygen by mass of the carbon plus mass of the oxygen. Here C12 carbon and 16 oxygen have been provided. That's the reason by 12 into 16 by 12 plus 16. This is for condition 1. Then in condition 2, what atoms are provided? C13 and oxygen 16 have been provided. Isotopic carbon was given to us. That's why 13 carbon into 16 oxygen by 13 carbon plus 16 oxygen have been given. 12 into 16 by 12 plus 16 by 13 into 16 by 13 plus 16 have been given, right? Then let us do the calculation. B2 by 12 by 39. So this we are not doing anything, is equal to, we multiplied all these values. So 192 by 28 by 208 by 29. So these are the values obtained. So after that, we are taking the what values of these. 192 by 28 is 6.85, 208 by 29 is 7.17. This is almost is equal to 0.95. We can indicate 0.95 as 1 itself. 0.95 almost is equal to 1 only, right? So B2 by 12 by 39 is equal to 0.95, almost is equal to 1, right? So now B2 is equal to, this value will be taken that side. So denominator, that's why it will remains as only 0.95 into 12 into 12 by 39. So 0.95 into 12 by 39, it is nothing but 0.29. 0.29 almost is equal to 0.3 centimeter inverse. 0.3 centimeter inverse is the right answer. The rotational constant will be 0.3 centimeter inverse. For question number 108, the right answer will be 0.3 centimeter inverse. Let us move on to question number 109. The vibrational transition energies diatomic molecule corresponds to V is equal to 1 to V is equal to 0. V is equal to 2 from V is equal to 1 are 2143.1 centimeter inverse, 2116 centimeter inverse respectively. The unharmonic constant of the molecule is needed to be predicted. Vibrational transitional energies of both the transitions are provided here, right? So for that, vibrational transition of first level is given as, the empirical formula will be VE into 1 minus 2 chi is equal to VE minus 2V chi. So because we multiplied this equation and it is converted into simplified form, VE into 1, it will become VE itself minus 2VE chi, minus 2VE chi, right? So its value is provided as 2143.1. So 2143 will be taken as a round figure here, right? So this is about first level of energy transition. When we consider second level of energy transition, it is taken as VE into 1 minus 4 chi E was taken. So when we multiply these, then it will become VE into 1, VE itself, minus 4 VE chi E. 4 VE chi E is equal to, its transition value will be 2116 centimeter inverse. Let us subtract both the values. When we are subtracting, what happens? VE plus VE minus VE both get cancelled. It will become 0. And 2V plus 4V will be there. It will become 2V. The difference between 2V and 4V is taken as 2V. Then chi remains as such. 0 plus 2VE chi is equal to. If we take the difference of these two stretching frequency values, it will be 27 centimeter inverse. What is the difference between these two? 27 centimeter inverse. Then 2 VE chi is equal to 27. VE chi is taken as 27 by 2. 27 by 2 is nothing but 13.5. What is the value here? 13.5 will be the value. That is nothing but unharmonic constant, right? So unharmonic constant VE chi is taken as 13.5. For question number 109, option number 2 will be the right answer. So let us move on to next question. Question number 110. The charge and chemical potential of 1 mole of ideal gas when it is compressed isothermally at 300 Kelvin from 1 atmosphere to 2 atmosphere is the closest to. Ln2 value is given as 0.69, right? So when it is compressed isothermally, then the change in the chemical potential is needed to be calculated. Change in the chemical potential needed to be calculated. Here the formula required is mu is equal to mu naught plus RT ln P. This is the required formula in order to do this calculation. Let us discuss mu. Here two pressure conditions are provided. P1 is 1 atmosphere, P2 is 2 atmospheric pressure have been given, right? So mu stands for reduced mass, delta mu, that means change in reduced mass is given as mu1 minus mu2. Mu1 minus mu2 is taken here, right? So delta mu is equal to mu1. So what is the formula for reduced mass calculation? Mu naught plus RT ln P. So here delta mu is equal to this mu1 is taken like this, mu naught plus RT ln P2 will be taken here. Minus mu naught plus RT ln P1, because two different pressure conditions are provided to us. When we take the difference of these two, the compressed form of equation will be represented like this. Okay, so plus mu naught minus mu naught both get cancelled. Now the formula will be RT ln P2 by P1. RT ln P2 by P1, nothing but P2 value will be 2, P1 value will be 1. ln 2 by 1, nothing but ln 2 itself. Okay, so R is the gaseous constant whose value is 8.314. T is the temperature. On the Kelvin scale, it is provided has 300. So 300 Kelvin temperature is provided. The product of this 8.314 and 300 Kelvin is RT value is 2500 when it is 300 Kelvin. ln2 value itself, it is provided within the problem, that is 0.69, right? 2500 into 0.69, the final value will be 1725. 1725 is the change in chemical potential. Change in chemical potential denoted with delta mu. Delta mu is equal to mu1 minus mu2. Mu1 is mu naught plus RT ln P2. Mu2 is minus mu naught plus RT ln P1. So mu naught get cancelled. RT ln P2 by P1 it will be. When we substitute pressure 2 by 1, it will become RT ln 2, right? RT ln2 is nothing but R is the gas constant, T is the temperature, ln2 value is provided within the problem. If we substitute all these, the final delta mu value will be 1725. For question number 110, option number 2 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 111. The excess molar entropy of mixing liquid A with liquid B is minus R ln 2. The experimentally observed change in entropy upon mixing 1 mole of liquid A with 1 mole of liquid B is, okay, excess molar entropy of mixing A and B is minus R ln 2. The experimentally observed change in entropy, 1 mole of liquid A with the liquid B. So this needed to be calculated. Experimentally observed change in entropy is needed to be calculated, right? For that purpose, we have delta S mixing plus delta S excess is taken as delta S. Total entropy is equal to delta S mixing plus delta S excess. So by using this formula, we are going to predict this experimentally observed change in entropy. For that purpose, delta S mixing, what is the formula? Minus R sigma Ni ln Xi is equal to minus Nr sigma Ni ln Xi. If n number of moles of molecule was given, the formula will be minus Nr sigma Ni ln Xi will be taken, right? So in this, sigma S mixing is equal to minus R sigma Ni is taken as 1 mole. 1 mole of gas 1 is given. That means 1 into ln Xi is given as, Xi value is given as 0.5. So the 0.5 is nothing but 1 by 2 only. plus second B molecule is also provided with 1 mole. So 1 into ln 1 by 2. Xi is taken as 1 by 2 only. So two different fractions are provided. So for mixing of A and B, it is taken as 1 by 2 and 1 by 2 only. Right? So here XA value is calculated here. How can we calculate XA value? Number of moles of XA by number of moles of XA plus XB, right? So that will become 1 by 1 plus 1. It will become 1 by 2. Then XB is calculated by this manner. So number of moles of B atom by total number of moles. So total number of moles nothing but A moles plus B moles. A moles 1, B moles also 1. Now it will become 1 by 2. So XA is equal to 1 by 2. That's why we substituted here. XB is equal to also 1 by 2. That's why here also we substituted 1 by 2. So this is the formula. Now delta X mixing is equal to minus R X minus 2 ln 2. So if this denominator is there, that can be represented like this 2 ln 2. So 2 ln 2 was taken. So is equal to 2 R ln 2. So minus into minus, it will become plus. So this is represented as 2 R ln 2. Delta S excess is equal to delta S mixing into total number of moles. Delta S excess is equal to delta S mixing into total number of moles. So delta S excess is taken as delta S mixing into total number of moles. How many moles are there? A atom 1 mole, B atom another mole. So 1 plus 1, it will become 2. So delta S mixing value, just now we calculated 2R ln 2. So 2R ln 2 value is calculated. So 2R ln 2. So that is taken as minus 2R ln 2. Delta S excess is taken as minus 2R ln 2. So this is a value obtained for delta S excess. Now we know delta S mixing and delta S excess. Both the values are known to us. Now let us substitute in this formula. Delta S total is equal to delta S mixing plus delta S excess. Nothing but 2R ln 2 minus 2R ln 2. Both the terms are exactly same. Both the terms are exactly same. Only the difference is magnitude. Here magnitude is plus R ln 2. Here the magnitude is minus R ln 2. That's why both the terms are exactly cancelled. 1 minus 1, it will become 0. In the same way, 2R ln 2 minus 2R ln 2 will become 0 only. That's the reason why for question number 111, option number 3 will be the right answer. 0 is provided in option number 3. So let us move on to question number 112. The entropy in terms of internal energy U to U0 and canonical partition function Q is given by S is equal to U minus U naught by T plus K ln Q. Assuming that atoms are distinguishable, the corresponding expression for monoatomic perfect gas is N, M, Na, K, H represent number of moles mass of the atom, Avogadro number, Boltzmann constant. N is nothing but moles, M is nothing but mass, Na is nothing but Avogadro number, K is nothing but Boltzmann constant, H is nothing but Planck's constant, respectively. U naught is the internal energy, T is equal to 0. Temperature is provided as 0. Here, these are the parameters which are provided, and entropy in terms of internal energy and canonical partition function is given as S is equal to U minus U naught by T plus K ln Q, right? What they are asking for? Corresponding expression for monoatomic perfect gas. So for monoatomic perfect gas, we have to predict this entropy. Entropy is required. For that purpose, we are using the formula Sackur-Tetrode equation. This formula is used for this prediction. Sackur-Tetrode equation, S is equal to 5 by 2 Nr plus Nr ln B by Na lambda cube. What's the formula? S is equal to 5 by 2 Nr plus Nr ln B by Na lambda cube. So this question paper courtesy is taken from IFAS Chemistry Academy, and this description is also provided from that only. S is equal to 5 by 2 Nr plus Nr ln V by Na lambda cube. This will be the formula. right? So in order to calculate this lambda, it is taken as h by under root 2 pi mkbt. What is the formula? Lambda is equal to h by under root 2 pi mkbt. So in this equation, what we have lambda value is there at the denominator. So instead of this lambda, we can substitute this value. So it will be 5 by 2 nr plus nr ln v by so what is the term here? Na will be there. So it is present in the denominator. That's the reason why whatever term is there, h, this h cube will be taken. So if it is like this, so let us take the same formula in cubic form. In cubic form, how it can be represented? Let us take cube here, and this will become h cube, and this entire term becomes power 3. So this is about the representation. If you are taking lambda cube, because within the equation lambda cube is provided, right? So here h cube by under root 2 pi mkbt cube will be there. So denominator, it will come to numerator. That's the reason why it will be converted into 2 pi mkt 3 by 2. So this will be the formula. S is equal to 5 by 2 nr plus nr ln v 2 pi mt by 3 by 2 by nah cube. It is provided in the equation 1. So for this question number 112, option number 1 will be the right answer. This purely based on the formula Sackur-Tetrode equation, right? Let us move on to question number 113. For a van der Waals gas, partial derivative of du by dvt is van der Waals gas is provided to us. Partial derivative of du by dv can be calculated. For that purpose, we are using formula du by dv is equal to T dp by dt v minus p. Du by dv is equal to T dp by dt minus p, right? So what is the ideal gas equation? PV is equal to nRT. What is the van der Waals equation? P plus n square A by V square. This is the pressure correction. V minus NB, this is the volume correction, is equal to nRT. So this is the deviation from ideal gas. That's why for real gases, van der Waals equation can be employed. So pressure correction will be P plus Na square by V square. Volume correction will be V minus NB is equal to nRT, right? So when we substitute for 1 mole, if you are taking only for 1 mole, the equation will be P plus A by V square, because N will become 1. That's why the formula will be P plus A by V square, V minus N is equal to 1. That's why V minus B is equal to RT, right? P plus A by V square is equal to RT by V minus B. We can take this term toward this side, so it will become P plus A by V square is equal to RT by V minus B. Then P is equal to RT by V minus B minus A by V square. This is the superscript. So A by V square. So we are taking this A by V square term towards right hand side. So now pressure is equal to RT by V minus B minus A by V square. Taking differential for both sides, dp by dt. With the temperature, with respect to temperature, we are differentiating both sides. dp by dt is equal to dRT by dt into V minus B, right? So here dt get cancelled. dp by dt is taken as R by V minus B. So it is taken as R minus V minus B. A by V square term for this differential is taken as 0. A by V square term is taken as 0. Then dp by dt value is taken as R by V minus B, right? So this R by V minus B value can be substituted in the equation. What equation? Du by dv is equal to T dp by dt minus P. So in that equation, this differential term can be substituted. Du by dv is equal to T dp by dt V minus P. So here, so this dp by dt term can be substituted with R by V minus B, right? So now du by dvt is equal to T R by V minus B minus P it is. Okay. So P value substituted in the above equation. So now let us take this equation. P is equal to RT by V minus B minus A by V square. So du by this pressure term is also substituted. dP by dt term we substituted. Now we are going to apply this pressure term. What is pressure term equation? RT by V minus B minus A by V square. That will be substituted here. Du by dVt is equal to TR by V minus B minus P. P is nothing but RT by V minus B minus A by V square. RT by V minus B minus A1 A V square. So this is the P term. This will be substituted in the equation. Here, when we observe it clearly, the entire term is present. So we can write one more step here. How can we represent one more step? So it will be very clear if we represent one more step here. So how it will be? This entire term is positive. This entire term is negative, right? And we are multiplying with this one. So minus into this place, it will become minus only. Minus into minus. Let us expand this one. Minus into minus, it will become plus here, right? So here plus TR by V minus B, we have minus RT by V minus B. These two terms are exactly same dimensions. That's why with opposite charges. That's why these two terms get cancelled. RT by V minus B minus RT by V minus B. These two terms get cancelled. So here plus A by V square will be the leftover term. That's why du by dVt is equal to A by V square. What is the final answer? Du by dVt is equal to A by V square. Okay, so this is partial derivative of du by dV, that is A by V square. Option number 3 will be the right answer. For question number 113, option number 3 will be the right answer. Let us move on to next question 114. An aqueous solution contains 0.02 mole per kilogram sodium chloride, 0.03 mole per kilogram calcium nitrate. Logarithm of mean ionic activity coefficient of this solution is. So what we have to predict? Log of mean ionic activity coefficient, log gamma plus or minus needed to be predicted. So for that purpose, we have ionic strength. I is equal to ionic strength. The empirical formula for ionic strength prediction will be half into sigma Ci Zi square plus half into Ci Zi square. C stands for concentration, Z stands for charge present on the ion. Okay, so here two different compounds are provided within the problem. One of the compound is sodium chloride, second one is calcium nitrate, and this activity is also provided here. That's the reason why we can directly substitute these concentration terms within the equation, right? So this ionic strength I is equal to half into, so sigma is there, so means this is applicable to both the salts which are provided within the problem. So let us apply first one for sodium chloride. Here half into its activity, that means its concentration is 0.02. For sodium chloride 0.02 is provided, right? 0.02 into 1 square. Then what is the valency of the sodium chloride? It will be 1 only, right? Plus 1 and minus 1. That's why its charge will be 1 only. So Zi square should be taken. That's why 1 square we are taking. Plus, then what is the negatively charged ion here? That is 0.02 should be the concentration of second chloride also. So this first term belongs to what? Sodium. Then second term belongs to what? Chlorine. Right, now let us apply the same thing here. 0.02 into what is the charge on this ion, second ion? Minus 1. So here Zi square can be employed, that's why minus 1 square will be taken. Plus the second salt needed to be calculated here. So half into what is the concentration of calcium nitrate? 0.03. So how many calcium ions are there? Only one calcium ion there. That's why 1 into 0.03 into 2 square. So what is the valency of calcium? Calcium always exists in plus 2 charge. That's why it is taken as 2 square. plus what is the anion here? Nitrate anion is there, right? So nitrate anion is there, whose concentration again taken as 0.03. And how many nitrate ions are there? Here it should be indicated as 2 into -1 square. So nitrate ions are 2. So that's why we denoted with 2 into each nitrate is associated with -1 charge. That's why -1 square. So this is about the ionic strength calculation. The empirical formula will be half into sigma CiZi square plus half into CiZi square. So two salts are provided. That's why this is employed for sodium chloride and this is employed for calcium nitrate. We substituted concentration and charge terms within the equation. After getting calculated, it will be converted into I is equal to 0.11. Ionic strength is calculated as 0.11. The formula for this log gamma plus or minus. What is log gamma plus or minus? Mean ionic activity coefficient. Mean ionic activity coefficient log gamma plus or minus is equal to minus 1.824 into 10 to the power 6 by epsilon t whole to the power 3 by 2 mod z plus and z minus under root I, right? So this will be the formula for the calculation of mean ionic activity coefficient. Okay, here A is given as 1.824 into 10 to the power 6 by E into T to the power 3 by 2. So this entire term is represented with only A. So all these are values only, right? That's why we can substitute this value. We can substitute all the values and we can calculate. This is simply represented as A and its value is 0.509. This entire term will be 0.509. Okay, so this will be substituted here. This is minus 0.509 mod z plus and z minus under root I will be taken. This is the simplified formula of this one, right? Z plus and Z minus denotes what? Charge present on the cation and charge present on anion, right? Z plus and Z minus. Now we are taking I is the ionic strength. I is the ionic strength. Here, how many molecules are provided? How many molecules? One is sodium chloride, another is calcium nitrate. Hence, it is taken as minus 2 into 0.509. Charge present on the cation will be +1. Charge present on the anion will be -1. Right? So, this is a mod Z plus and Z minus under root 0.11. Why? I is equal to, just now we calculated ionic strength, that is 0.11. Ionic strength is calculated as 0.11. Log gamma plus or minus is equal to -2 into 0.509 mod plus 1 minus 1 under root 0.11 it will be, right? So -2 into 0.509, this multiplication it will become -1. So -2 into 0.509 is calculated as -1 plus 1 into -1 into under root 0.11. So +1 -1 both get cancelled into 1, again it is 1 only. So log gamma plus or minus is taken as minus under root 0.11. What is the final answer? Log gamma plus or minus is equal to minus under root 0.11. Question number 114, option number 4 will be the right answer. So what is the actual equation required for us? First, we have to predict this I value. I is nothing but ionic strength. Then the formula for mean ionic activity will be log gamma plus or minus is equal to A into mod Z plus and Z minus root I. So this is the actual formula required for this. And by using this equation, we can calculate this mean ionic activity coefficient as minus root 0.11. For question number 114, option number 4 will be the right answer. Let us move on to next question. Question number 115. Molar conductivities of electrolyte 150 meters say centimeter square mole inverse when concentrations are 4 and 9 millimolar respectively. The limiting molar conductivity of this electrolyte Millisiemen centimeter square mole inverse is the closest to. They are asking for limiting molar conductivity. Limiting molar conductivity is to be calculated. This is the question of electrochemistry. Now let us predict what will be the answer for this one. Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation is given, which is required for the calculation of this limiting molar conductivity. Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation is given as lambda c is equal to lambda naught minus b under root c. Okay, so what is the equation? Lambda c is equal to lambda naught minus b under root c. Here, lambda c denotes what? Molar conductivity, which is at certain concentration. Molar conductivity at given concentration is denoted as lambda c. Lambda naught is denoted as molar conductivity at infinite dilution. Lambda naught is nothing but molar conductivity at infinite dilution, right? So here, the limiting molar conductivity of this one to be calculated, C is nothing but concentration here, B is the constant value, right? So what values are provided? Molar conductivities of electrolytes 100 and 50. Molar conductivities are 100 and 50 provided. That means molar conductivity at 100 concentration is, molar conductivity at first concentration is 100, second concentration is 50, right? So that means lambda c is nothing but 100. 100 is equal to this infinite lambda value is taken as x minus b under root 4. B under root 4. How much it will be? Concentration is 4 and concentration is 9. So for 100 molar conductivity, concentration is 4. For 50 molar conductivity, concentration is 9. This equation only we are using. Lambda c is equal to lambda naught minus b under root c. Here lambda c is taken as 100. Then lambda naught is denoted with x. B is the constant value. Under root, concentration will be taken as 4 for this 100. So for 50, the concentration is provided as 9. For molar conductivity 50, concentration is provided as 9. So that's why 50 is equal to x minus b under root 9. Okay, now this can be taken as 100 is equal to x minus b under root 4. What is root 4 value? Root 4 value is 2. What is root 9 value? Root 9 value is 3. So 100 is equal to x minus b 2. Then 50 is equal to x minus b 3. So we are doing the calculation. Under root 4 is equal to 2. Under root 3 is equal to, under root 9 is equal to 3. Okay, so we can subtract both the equations. Both the equations can be subtracted here. How can we subtract? Okay, these two are the equations which are calculated now. So by subtracting this one, what happens? 100 minus 50, it will be 50. Plus x minus x both get cancelled. Plus b minus b both get b term we have to calculate. So the difference between 3 and 2 will be 1 only, right? So 100 minus 50, 50 only, x get cancelled, b term to be calculated, 3 minus 2, it will be 1 only. So by this, it is calculated as b is equal to 50. B value is obtained here. Let us substitute this b value in the equation. Any one of the equation we can substitute. I am taking second equation, that is 50 is equal to x minus b 3. In this equation, we can substitute 50 is equal to x minus b value is taken as 50 only. 50 is equal to x minus 50 into 3 it will be taken, right? 50 into 3 is nothing but 150. So x minus 150 is equal to 50. X minus 150 is equal to 50. X is equal to 150 plus 50. That is nothing but 200. So this limiting molar conductivity will be 200. What is the formula required for us? Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation, lambda c is equal to lambda naught minus b under root c. Lambda c values are provided and the concentration terms also provided. If we substitute all these and the further derivation, this limiting molar conductivity is calculated as 200. For question number 115, option number 2 will be the right answer. Let us move on to next question. Question number 116. The concentration of compound undergoing decomposition at the function of time is given by. So here time and the concentration terms are provided to us. Based on this, the order of the reaction to be predicted. Order for this reaction is needed to be predicted. 1 by C versus time graph is plotted here, and the straight line is obtained, which is passing through the origin, right? So here the values are provided. When we are taking difference of these two, how can we take 1 by 1 minus 1 by 0.8? 1 by 1 minus 1 by 0.8 by 0.1. So 0 to 1. So the difference is 0 to 1. So 1 minus 1 minus 0.8 by 0 to 1. So this will be taken as a one of the component, and the second component is taken as 1 by 0.8 minus 1 by 0.67. 1 by 0.8 minus 1 by 0.67. These two terms are going to be considered. These two terms belongs to 2 minus 1. So this is the second parameter, 2 minus 1. Okay. So 1 by 1 minus 1 by 0.8 by 0 minus 1 is equal to 1 by 0.8 minus 1 by 0.67 by 1 minus 2, right? So if we do this calculation, so what happens? 1 by 1, it will become 1 only. 1 by 0.8 value will be 1.25 by 0 minus 1, nothing but minus 1. 1 by 0.8, 1.25. 1 by 0.67, it will be 1.5 by 1 minus 2, it will be minus 1. Minus 1 get cancelled. So 1 minus 1.25 is nothing but 0.25 is equal to, here also same value, 0.25 is equal to 0.25. Both sides of what are the integers obtained, both sides we got same reaction coordinates, same values are obtained. Hence it is very clear that this is a kind of second order reaction. This is a part of second order reaction. That's the reason why for question number 116, option number 3 will be the right answer. So it is a kind of second order reaction. Okay, so let us move on to next question, 117. A substance A is expressed 600 nanometers, 100 watt light source for 6,626 seconds with 50% of incident light being absorbed. A decomposes according to reaction A tends to give rise to 2B. As a result of irradiation, 0.2 moles of B is produced. The quantum yield of the reaction is closest to. Okay, the substance A was taken and 600 nanometers of energy is applied on this. 100 watts of light for the period of 6,626 seconds. It was given 50% of incident light absorbed. Remaining 50 will be back emitted. 50% light have been absorbed in this. So here, whenever A decomposes, there is the formation of 2B molecules are possible, right? So when irradiation of light is generated, A is turned into compound B. That means A decomposition is possible, formation of B is possible. For this reaction, we have to predict its quantum yield. Quantum yield needed to be predicted. For that purpose, we have parameters which are provided. Lambda is given by, lambda wavelength is given by 600 nanometers. That can be converted into meters by multiplying with 10 to the power minus 9. So 600 into 10 to the power minus 9 is nothing but 6 into 10 to the power minus 7, because plus 2 zeros minus 2 zeros get cancelled. Leftover thing is 6 into 10 to the power minus 7 meters. Then 100 watts is equal to 100 joules per second. Temperature is time is given as 6,626 seconds. Planck's constant value will be 6 into 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34. Velocity of light c is equal to 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. This is the speed of light. Percentage of absorption is equal to percentage of absorption, which is nothing but 50%. So they only said it is absorbed in this reaction. Then yield of 0.2 moles yield is calculated for 0.2 moles. Yield is calculated for 0.2 moles of B is produced. So how much yield is generated? That is calculated for 0.2 moles of the product. Then this quantum yield is given as pi into P is equal to NHC by lambda by time. This is the empirical formula in order to calculate quantum yield of the product. Pi into P is equal to NHC by lambda by time. Okay, N indicates number of photons observed in the reaction. H is the Planck's constant, C is the velocity of light, lambda is the wavelength of the light, time period, how much time it is irradiated, right? So N is equal to, so we want to calculate N is equal to pi into P into lambda into T by HC. Here C is the velocity of light. Number of photons observed is equal to N by Na. Number of photons observed is taken as N by Na. So pi is equal to yield by N by Na. Pi is equal to yield by N by Na will be taken. So yield is equal to NHC by lambda by time. Okay, so yield needed to be calculated. Quantum yield needed to be calculated. That's why yield is equal to NHC by lambda by time. Right? N is nothing but number of moles. How many moles of product generated? 0.2 moles of product generated. H is the Planck's constant value 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 34. C is the velocity of light, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. And this is the 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 is Avogadro number. By 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 is the lambda value which is provided. So within the problem, they provided 600 nanometers. We turned into meters. We converted into meters by multiplying with 10 to the power minus 9. 6 into 10 to the power minus 7 is the lambda value. Time is provided as 6,626. So 0.50 into 100 will be taken because percentage of light absorbed will be 50%. That's why it is converted into 0.50 into 100. Okay, so these are the parameters required to be calculated. After calculating Q observed is equal to 0.2 into 10 to the power minus 3, 3 into 10 to the power 8, 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 by 0.50 into 100 into 6 into 10 to the power minus 7 into 10 to the power minus 3, because you can clearly observe that 6.626 is there, 6626 is there. So these two terms clearly get cancelled. That's why this term is not appearing in this, because we cancelled these two. Whenever we cancelled these two, here we have decimal pointer. 0.626 is there. That's why in the denominator we inserted this 10 to the power minus 3. Right? Remaining terms remains as such. Only the difference is this 6.626 and 6626 both get cancelled. That's why here 10 to the power minus 3 is inserted, because here decimal value is there. So remaining all are same. Now A tends to convert it into 2B. So which is calculated as 0.12. 0.12. Q observed is equal to Q observed by 2. So that is taken as half of this one, 0.06. So Q observed, quantum yield is equal to Q observed by 2. That is nothing but 0.06. 0.06 can be represented as 6 into 10 to the power minus 2. Right? So 6 into 10 to the power minus 2. Option number 3 will be the right answer. This is about the quantum yield of the product. So for question number 117, option number 3 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 118. A gas is known to satisfy Langmuir isotherm when absorbed a certain metal surface. If the fractional coverage of the gas is 0.5, when the gas pressure is PA, fractional coverage is 3 pascals, would be closest to 2. Okay, the gas is known to satisfy Langmuir isotherm when absorbed in the certain metal surface. If the fractional coverage of the gas is 0.5 when gaseous pressure is how much? 1 Pascal, the fractional coverage at 3 Pascals would be closest to. So 1 Pascal value is given. 3 Pascal, at 3 Pascal, how much fractional coverage is carried, that needed to be calculated, right? For that purpose, we have the formula, Langmuir isotherm formula. What is the formula? K is equal to theta by 1 minus theta into 1 by P. So theta by 1 minus theta into 1 by P will be the formula for the calculation of Langmuir adsorption isotherm. So here theta is given as fractional coverage is given as 0.5. 0.5 by 1 minus 0.5 into 1 by P. So at what pressure this fractional coverage is possible? 1 Pascal pressure. That means P value is taken as 1 by 1. This pressure term is taken as 1 itself. So what is the value obtained? Theta by 1 minus theta into 1 plus P is the formula. Theta is nothing but fractional coverage. How much? 0.5 by 1 minus 0.5 into 1 by 1. Okay. So that is nothing but 0.5 by 1 minus 0.5, nothing but again 0.5 only. Both get cancelled. So that K is equal to 1. What is the value of K? 1 it is. Okay. Now let us predict theta for this fractional coverage at 3 Pascal pressure. For 3 Pascal pressure, we have to predict this fractional coverage. That's why theta is needed to be calculated, right? Now let us convert the formula into theta is equal to Kp by 1 plus Kp. So this can be written in any other form. Theta is equal to Kp by 1 plus Kp. So here K is nothing but 1. So this K just now we calculated, K is taken as 1 into. So for this fractional coverage, what is the pressure employed? 3 Pascal pressure is employed. That's why 1 into 3 by 1 plus Kp. That means 1 plus 1 into 3. So 1 into 3 by 1 plus 1 into 3. That is nothing but 3 by 1 plus 3. That is nothing but 3 by 4. 3 by 4 is exactly is equal to 0.75. 0.75. For 1 Pascal, 0.5 is the fractional coverage. For 3 Pascal, 0.75 is the fractional coverage. Right? For question number 118, option number 2 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 119. It is a part of solid state chemistry. Okay. Iron belongs to body centered cubic lattice. The Miller indices of second allowed reflection in the powder diffraction pattern of iron would be. Okay. So here what they are asking for, second allowed reflection is needed to be calculated. So in this BCC lattice, iron exists in BCC lattice. The second allowed reflection to be calculated. For BCC, K plus L plus M value always taken as even. K plus L plus M value always taken as even value in case of BCC structure. So here the possible planes are 1, 0, 0. Nothing but K plus L plus M value to be predicted. So in this 100, first term denotes K, second term denotes L, third term denotes M. Okay, 1 plus 0 plus 0, the value obtained is 1. So if value obtained is 1, BCC is not applicable because always BCC, for BCC, K plus L plus M should be even term only. That's why this will not be applicable here. And the second is 110 plane. If you are considering 110 plane, 1 plus 1 plus 0, nothing but 2, even. So even value is obtained. That's why it is clear. It will be applicable to BCC plane, right? And third is about 110 plane. Sorry, 111 plane it is. 111 plane it is. In case of 111 plane, 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3. 3 is odd. That's why for BCC, this cannot be employed, right? So, and another one is 200 plane. 2 plus 0 plus 0. Now it will become 2. It is the even value. That's why it will be applicable. 210 when employed, it will be 2 plus 1 plus 0. again it is the odd value. So for BCC, it cannot be applicable. What they are asking for? Second allowed reflection. Among all, first allowed reflection will be this 110 plane, and second allowed reflection will be 200 plane. So 200 plane will be the second allowed reflection. So for question number 119, option number 3 will be the right answer. 200 plane is allowed for BCC, because for BCC always even values are allowed but not odd values. K plus L plus M value should be even. So here among all the planes provided, only two possibilities are there. One is first level, second is second level. So second level allowed reflection they are asking for, that's why. So option number 3 will be the right answer. And last question of the series, question number 120, the degree of polymerization at T is equal to 10 hours of a polymer formed by a stepwise process by the polymerization. Rate constant is 3 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter second, and an initial monomer concentration is 50, right? So if it is provided, we have to predict the degree of polymerization. Degree of polymerization is needed to be calculated. It is the part of polymer chemistry. We have to predict the degree of polymerization. So rate constant is provided, time period of polymerization is provided, and the initial monomer concentration is also given. Degree of polymerization is to be calculated. So degree of polymerization is given as 1 plus kT m to the power 0, right? M to the power 0, initial concentration of monomer. M0 stands for initial concentration of monomer. 1 plus, so K value is provided, rate constant is 3 into 10 to the power minus 2. 1 plus 3 into 10 to the power minus 2. So time period, how much time period is given? So this entire polymerization process requires 10 hours of time duration. So here the term is given, rate constant given in seconds, but time is given in hours. How to convert hours into minutes? By multiplying with 60. Minutes into seconds, again multiplied with one more 60. That's why time can be multiplied with 60 into 60. 100 into 60 into 60, so that hours turned into seconds now. Okay, later concentration of initial monomer. Initial monomer concentration is 50. Initial monomer concentration is 50. So this 50 millimicrons are there. So it can be multiplied with 10 to the power minus 3. Right? So 1 plus K rate constant is given in the problem. T time is also given in the problem, but we have to convert into seconds. Then monomer concentration is provided in millimicrons. It can be multiplied with 10 to the power minus 3. After doing all the calculation, the final answer will be 55. 55 is the degree of polymerization, right? For question number 120, option number 1 will be the right answer. By this, we completed the series where question number 105 to 120 have been discussed in a detailed manner. This will be very much helpful for your preparation towards any competitive examination, otherwise any entrance examination, right? So thank you very much for your patience listening. Thank you one and all.